very important question. How much time on average do I get for the GMAT focus verbal ed section? Now, when I look at this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is I need to know the total number of questions, of course, and the total time that the examiner is given me. So, of course, the GMAT verbal section will be reduced by around 20 minutes. I am having 23 questions. Questions also have come down. Total time is 45. And if I really do a very simple calculation, it's 1.9, right? 1 minute. So if I look at this, it looks like, oh, I just need somewhere closer to 2 minutes. But is this exactly, can the average time per question be uniform? Can I have a similar pacing all throughout? No, right? Because my test definitely is broken into two parts. So I have specifically two areas to look at. I have the RC and I have the CR. Because I have two different question types, of course, my time per question would change because the skill set required in both of them are a little different. So let us see. So when I look at the RC, the total number of questions for this section, of course, is 12 to 13 when I look at the total number per se. So it might give you a thought that way, I spend 2 minutes per question, that's it. But then we need to understand that reading comprehension would have a paragraph, right? So I need to divide my time skills in reading the para. It's going to have a question statement and it's going to have a set of options. So I am going to be having a set of 5 options per se. So my reading of this question and the analysis, the read and analysis of these options, the time cannot be uniform. So there needs to be a strategic way of looking at the time management here. Again, if you look at it carefully, I'm not going to be getting similar RCs, right? The paper is adaptive. So your ability, your accuracy will determine what the next RC would be. Even though if I start with an easy to medium RC right in the beginning of the test, an RC that is short and easy may take approximately, if I look at it, 3.5 to 4 minutes, I may be able to finish that. But what about an RC which is short and challenging? Where is the challenge? The data reading can be challenging. The strong construction of the sentences can be challenging. It can also be challenging where the options are very long. They are pretty close-knit. The elimination might take you time. You need to think through. That's where a shorter one can also stretch to, I would say, 4 to 6 minutes, right? It will take time. So my division that you are seeing here, in totality, the timing is specific to, or rather, I would say it is including your reading of the para as well as solving of the questions. So it is a cumulative there. So ideally speaking, if I look at it, a short para can definitely have a range. So what I want to highlight is when you are preparing for this test, we cannot just pace by thinking per question 1 minute. That's a very easy way of looking at it. There has to be a range of time. So when you are practicing, keep in mind that some RCs will take less time and some of them will definitely be challenging enough for you at that minute. Hence, they can take comparatively more time. Similarly, when I talk of a longer passage, some paras can be long, but pretty easy to read. The story just flows. The options might be very easy to select, not much of deliberation needed. So this is where a range of 6 to 8 minutes makes sense, right? Because a challenging RC might take you around 9 minutes. So I look at a range of 6 to 8 as an approximation, whereas a very easy one, you can wrap it up within 6 minutes. So based on this particular thing, definitely a time range of 6 to 8.5, 9 minutes would make sense. So that's an average time that we are looking at. So now, for example, I just want to highlight something. Question type. So if I have a question type, which is a primary purpose, the main idea question type. So many of you would agree that if I read the para, if I've read the para well, if I spend some 2.5 to 3.5 minutes reading the para, right? This primary purpose question, the skill set that I require on the option elimination, This can be done in matter of 30 seconds to 1 minute, right? So my time can be distributed here. Whereas a specific location question where I am going to the location, I am inferring the answer, understanding what the question wants, the timing can range 1.5 to 2 minutes sometimes. But ideally, it should be this is what we require. So, question types also would be something that will help me understand my pacing. So, pacing is not uniform when I talk of a test with different question types. Even within an RC, my question types and my timing can change. Now, let's look at critical reasoning. So when I look at CR, yes, I have 9 to 11. I might have so here also there can be difference. I can have questions which are conclusion, inference, very simple straight line questions. Here the challenge is reading the stimulus well. Now, if my stimulus is challenging enough, yes, I will go slow in reading. So if I look at time distribution, you get a stimulus, that is, you get a para, you have a question, and you have a set of options. Now, here, if I say, oh, I need to do some 2 minutes of solving, right? In CR, it's 2 minutes. Now, I will break this 2 minutes in all of them. I need to break it in parts. It cannot be again uniform because in critical reasoning, the selection of the right answer is dependent on how well I have comprehended this para. So if I have not comprehended the para, I was very fast in the para, trust me, if you come down to the options, you will be like taken aback. You'll be all caught and you'll be confused what to do. And you might end up spending more time. So therefore, if I need to think about time management, I need to be judicious enough. I need to be very pragmatic in dividing the time in a proper manner. Nothing can be uniform. It has to be paced properly. Similarly, of course, a challenging CR question might take more time with challenging options. So I can have a stimulus either way. Stimulus can be challenging, whereas options are easy. Stimulus is easy. Options are challenging. I can have it either way. Irrespective of that, a very difficult CR can take you 3 minutes, whereas a very easy one can be a range of 1.5. So this is a range that we are looking at. And yes, 1.5 to 2.5 minutes is the average time that would be needed. Now, one last thing that I would like to tell my students. So very important is when I'm really prepping up for this test, when I look at average time per question, it's very important that you need to analyze. These are two things that should come. That, oh, I've spent so much time. But many people keep thinking I've spent so much time, so I'll just keep practicing and my timing will become better. No, my dear. You need to identify the cause. Find where the leaks are. Plug the leak. The leak can be in the passage. The leak can be when you're thinking over the options. The leak can also be where you did not understand the question requirement well. Hence, you needed to spend a lot of time analyzing the options and you just got confused. So please identify the cause and prep in that manner. And finally, the last thing is always, we all of us, we have got this internal clock. So I know very well when I'm solving without looking at a clock, it's 2 minutes gone. It's 1 minute gone. So try to sense what is your internal timing without the timer. So if you really bring in cadence, some kind of a coherence with your internal clock, and the clock is there, it will be great in your prep progress. That is something that will help you nail the test. Thank you.